Hi, hello, my loves. It's Lavi, and I'm here to tell you about Leaving Nowhere. It is 21 pages, fully colored, plus some bonus content at the back, and my way of bringing art therapy into the physical realm. I went through an emotional experience last year, so I thought, hey, let's make a comic. Right now they're open for pre-order. You can get my blue or purple witchy here from my Rainbow Witch series. I use their character designs in the story, and that's all I wanted to let you know. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye!
Hi, I'm Chris O'Connell. You're watching Cartoonist by Night.
Welcome to Cartoonist by Night. I am Anthony Laatsch. I am joined here with Matt Rodgers, D. Brad Gibson, and a very special welcome back to Adam Crohn. How's it going, Adam?
Welcome back.
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you back. And we are going to be hanging out for yet another classic free-for-all episode. That means we draw whatever we want, we discuss whatever we want, and that is going to be the setup for the show. I do have a couple questions from our loyal viewers over on the Instagram stories. When I put out the prompts, I'll filter those in. We'll catch up with Adam and see what's going on. We will have the topic of Free Comic Book Day 2025 as well, so that's a little teaser for something we will talk about. But before we get into that, we're going to figure out what we are going to be working on here. D. Brad, what do you plan on drawing this evening?
Well, I know that when this airs, it won't be Mother's Day, but I'm working on my annual Mother's Day card for my mom.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. Very cool. And then we're going to jump over to Matt Rodgers. We are seeing your handsome mug right now. I'm going to assume you're working on something that cannot be shown. Can you discuss?
I am working on something that can't be shown yet. I'm getting real boring on these shows.
It goes
Man.
hand in hand, because if you can't show something, it means you're probably working on something exciting. You're working. You got a job to do. So it's a little bit of both, good and bad. But
Yeah, that.
yeah, that. Hopefully, maybe we'll see what kind of ice cream you got in your freezer, like we did in the last episode. Get some extra content we don't normally get.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
That was awesome.
Maybe.
We'll jump over to Adam. Any idea what you're going to be working on tonight?
I dropped my homemade Mother's Day card in the mail this morning, D. Brad. So I'm going to be working. I've actually got this project going. I'm a eighth grade special ed, and my 5 teachers that I work with, the team, are awesome. Just awesome. I couldn't have better coworkers, and they know that I'm like a huge 80s dork, and I'm always wearing my Garbage Pail Kids shirts. So I'm like drawing each of them a Garbage Pail Kid that coincides with their name. And they're all vintage characters, so they've already been done, all the Lizard Liz, Anna Banana, all those. So I'm gonna draw them, and then I'm also gonna get them like the actual card and give that to them as like a thank you at the end of the year.
Wow. Is there a
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
teacher than Adam Crohn? I don't think.
Dang.
That's awesome.
Thanks, dude.
I guess a runner-up, a good tie, other than D. Brad as well, but also Alejandro Rosado, awesome teacher as well, and creating memories for the students that they'll always remember.
Yeah.
All right, cut over to my drawing board at the time of this recording. It's not Mother's Day, but it is Kermit the Frog's 70th
Hi-ho.
birthday back in
Se-
55
Wow.
showing up with the
Wow.
Sam and Friends. So I decided to whip up a Kermit card. And as a backup, in case I finish that one quick, I do have an Oscar the Grouch here and a Big Bird as well.
Nice.
But yep, the main focus here was the celebrating the green guy himself, Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog here.
Hey, yeah.
Oh.
Should be a good episode of Cartoonist by Night. Welcome back to Adam Crohn. Yeah! Alrighty, cool. So yeah, we are going to get off to the races here, start drawing, start talking. Before we get into that tease subject of the Free Comic Book Day 2025, let's do a little catch up with Adam Crohn. What's been going on since Prawn Nog since we last? How has your life changed from those episodes?
Oh man. Well, I was a teacher back then too, so I guess that's not new. The school year is wrapping up. It's been like I truly enjoy my job, but it's also like, man, it's just one of my main kids that I'm with is just struggling hard, especially lately. So it's been exhausting. But so that's wrapping up. I'm looking for summer work. I've been trying to get back to like drawing every day, which I was doing before this job, but whatever time. So, man, my memory is not nearly as good as it was. So I'm trying to remember all that. I don't really, I'm still doing the toy design stuff. Still have a huge commission list with that I'm always behind on, but
one thing you can talk about, I assume, is something that has returned for a brand new season. Is that right?
That's true. Matt, you want to help me out on this?
You do a horror
podcast.
Horror
called Death by Podcast. And I do it with a good friend of mine named Kevin Cowl, like the movie.
Oh.
He's also an awesome artist. And so we just started season 4, and we do it in like seasons. So we go through it's vintage horror movies that are on VHS, preferably. Sometimes we branch out and do something new or different, whatever. But and we go through the alphabet. So usually there's 26 episodes at least per season. Plus we have like a best of, and I don't know. Sometimes we'll throw in some kind of weird, like I think it wasn't last season. It was the season before. There was this lead up. The big thing was Rob Zombie's remake of The Munsters, and we like followed all the news leading up to it for like the whole season, and then it came out and it was just trash. But this season it's the remake of Toxic Avenger. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Yeah.
Which, if you've never seen the original Toxic Avenger, it's a great classic movie, but it's also something that would never be made today.
Yeah.
So the new one has like, it's crazy. Peter Dinklage is Toxic Avenger. It's got Elijah Wood is like the villain, and I think Kevin Bacon's in it. I don't know. So
Really?
yeah, it's crazy. So like that's our news focus, but we do every letter of the alphabet. We get a movie that starts with A, B, C, blah blah blah. So A is out, the first episode, and then we'll be recording B. Hopefully, we wanted to do it this week, but we'll do it next week, I guess. We used to do it every week, but I can't keep up with that right now, so we're going to just do it whenever. So it'll probably be like 2029 by the time we get to Z, but whatever.
It's all right.
But I love it. I love podcasting. I love doing this, like being on your show and doing my show, and I love horror movies, especially like the old school. I'm usually I like some fun in my horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm not a big like grisly, gruesome kind of guy, but yeah, so that's fun.
Do you like Return of the Living Dead, like that style?
Yeah, no, I love that. Like,
Yeah,
that's because it's got camp and it's got like there's all those movies are great. I even like when they get more serious, like It's just when it gets like I'm not a big Texas Chainsaw fan, or like, even though I can, it's a great classic movie, but um, yeah, it's fun. I love it. It's called Death by Podcast. It's everywhere you can find your podcasts,
I have
and all
I
over
have
social media.
a sticker of your logo on my freezer over there. Stand
Oh
up.
yeah, awesome. That art was done by the great Eric Wolfgang, friend of the show.
Yes.
I know
Ah,
that guy.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest. Like, we'll never change that. It's one of the greatest like images in horror, I think. Very underrated.
I was trying to remember, did I send that to you, D. Brad? Did I throw that in one of the packages?
yeah, you did. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because usually, yeah, I got a pile of them, and anytime I've gotten some stuff from Adam, then I'll get, replenish some stickers, and then I'll send them out, things that I'm sending to
I have a
as well.
I have a roll of magnetic tape, and I put it on the back of the sticker. That way I don't have to have it stuck to the fridge.
That's cool. I like that. Instant
Yeah.
magnet.
Yeah.
I like it.
Speaking of shows, thanks for having me on, guys. And Matt, I heard it was your doing that I'm sitting here tonight.
Yeah.
So thank you. It's flattering.
You're welcome.
Also insulting, I
I,
guess. I don't know, but who knows?
I've been fighting for you for a long time.
I know you
Anthony.
have,
Like,
man.
we don't want that guy.
I know.
Never ever said he's lying.
We've heard everything this guy could possibly say.
Right. No, I love it. And I could also say like when I'm at school, like today they were like, "Hey, a bunch of us are going over to this place for a drink or whatever." I'm like, "Sorry guys, I'm recording tonight." Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What? What are you recording?" I'm like,
The kids were saying that?
"No, well, they're really curious. Like, there's that weird like line that you can't cross with the kids where it's like, I don't advertise social media to them. I don't want them on it. Like it's it's a terrible thing.
Yeah. No,
But
yeah.
they when they show an interest in like who you actually are outside of school,
Yeah.
I don't want to like cut that connection off. So I'll like kind of like tell them stuff sometimes, whatever, but
Yeah.
keeping it proper.
Well, they like to know your interests.
Yeah. And we've got some awesome kids. Like it's a cool, they treat me, I'm very lucky and I'm very flattered. They treat me like a celebrity there because I'm the position that I'm in. I'm not a classroom teacher. I'm with like a couple kids in the classrooms.
Yeah.
And so I can be the cool guy, the cool teacher, the fun teacher, whereas the actual class, like the actual civics teacher, English teacher, whatever, they got to maintain that class. And
Yeah.
but the kids, like, it's like I walk into a room, they're like, "Mr. C," and it's just the teachers have to stop and wait for it to pass, and I'm just like, "You guys are awesome." So
Love it.
He's
it's a
get to
blast.
bask in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if people go through the Death by Podcast library, my voice was on an episode for a special episode impromptu appearance.
Oh boy.
It's from one of the Oh Yeah events. Was it the Svengoolie?
Was it? Or no, I thought it wasn't. Was it Svengoolie or was it a Star Wars thing? Or was it a May the 5th? Was it a May the 5th thing? No, what? No, it wasn't. What was it?
Yeah,
Might have been Svengoolie.
Yeah, like just after the
Post Svengoolie, yeah.
But yeah, I was interviewed, kind of talking about what I liked, like in the movie Slither and growing up watching Chucky
Right.
and Cemetery and stuff like that. So there's a couple people on that episode if you wanted to check that out as well. And I've been wanting to just go through the list and just be like, all right, this is the movie they're watching, I'll watch it. Because a lot of it I probably haven't seen, especially if they're deep cut stuff. I've seen a lot of the mainstream stuff and everything. But
Yeah.
it's a cool
We really
concept.
try to, that's my, like, if it were up to Kevin, I think sometimes he's definitely not into the vintage stuff like I am as much.
Yeah.
I try to, we always make excuses like we ran out of movies for a certain letter, but if you really look, you'll find some 80s garbage hidden. Yeah, look at that. Whew. I like it.
Boom.
I like it.
Subbed.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun movies out there, and we're honest. We'll always say like, don't waste your time with this pile of trash, or definitely go watch this. So
Cool.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Awesome.
we reached out to the Instagram and we got a couple responses, a couple silly answers. We'll get to them later in the show, but this one here is going to basically, I was asking um, any random questions, simple as that, no specific topic. But thanks to Brian Lynch from Hot Wing of Justice,
Oh,
um, he asks, "What is your favorite part of Free Comic Book Day?" So, at the time of this recording, we are almost surprisingly a week from the event of Free Comic Book Day, the first Saturday in May. Free Comic Book Day, publishers getting together, putting out stories that are free to the customer, not free to the retailer. So everyone's always encouraged to go in for some free books and then go around and buy some other stuff as well and just get people to a comic shop, check out stories that maybe they're not reading, they don't know anything about, things like that. A couple of us went out there in the wild to participate in Free Comic Book Day. So let me start with Matt Rodgers because you and Matt Fife were out there as special guests. Can you kind of talk about that experience in the store that you guys were at?
Yeah, we were at one sec, sorry. Gotta finish this line or I'll forget what I was doing. You understand.
Understand?
We were at our good friend's awesome comic shop. It's called Superfly Comics and Games in Yellow Springs, Ohio. That's my local shop. That's where I have my pull. They're awesome there. And we had a special cover printed up for the Keen Spot book
Yeah,
that is just for them, has their logo on the back there.
nice.
And I drew, that's their store. And then Happy Astronauts on the cover. And then we
Nice.
had a one-page story in there. We actually got the inside. I'm gonna freeze up here real quick. One sec. There we go. We're on the inside front cover.
All
So
right.
that's pretty sweet. It was fun, man.
So,
I talked so much that day that I lost my voice for almost a full week.
Oh boy.
Yeah. You can tell it's still working on coming back, and I get to go do a show tomorrow. Uh, and we'll see how that goes.
yeah. The Keen Spot Toy Box Free Comic Book Day issue. I'm holding the standard cover that was available to shops. Oh yeah, Comics in beautiful downtown Skokie had their copies here, and this book here, as Roger showed with the Happy Astronaut story in the beginning, what's kind of cool is that it starts with a Happy Astronaut story and it ends with a Kid Slapshot story by Troy DONGARRA. So it's kind
mm,
of cool that it's book ended with our very members here at Cartoonist by Night. And then somewhere in the middle there, we have a new Squish and Squash story that is drawn by Shane Campos, a recent
Ah,
guest on our show. Uh,
right.
Actually, just because I have him right here and I mentioned Shane Campos, we talked to him about Saturday morning cartoons. We talked about his graphic novel, Go Berserk. And him and I are doing an art trade, and I decided to throw in some extra things for the delivery for him. So I did some cards here of the Go Berserk characters. So Shane, you will probably have
nice.
gotten these before you see this. So assuming he watches, but yeah. So Go Berserk. Go back to that episode. Go check out that graphic novel. Reach out to Shane for that. But yeah, he had his debut in filling in for doing the art on Squish and Squash. So this book had several of our favorite people in it. And myself and Brian Lynch, who asked the question to get this rolling, were manning the table at Free Comic Book Day at Oh Yeah Comics in Skokie. For when people came in, then we told them how many books they get and if they needed any recommendations. Then we pushed the toy box issue a lot, so people were kind of wondering what it was and stuff like that, being like, "Oh, it's a bunch of characters that maybe you haven't read because they're not your Spider Mans, your Batmans, and Optimus Primes and all that kind of stuff." And so yeah, it was fun to kind of push that book and all the copies that Oh Yeah Comics had were gone of that specific issue, so that was cool. They had quite a bit too. So But yeah, so the signing, you've been at the Superfly for other signings, right?
Yeah, we did
Party.
their I don't remember what number it was, but they had like their anniversary of being open, and we did a show there last year sometime. I don't know. It all runs together.
Yeah.
You get it.
Gives you the runs.
I'm a terrible person. Wait,
Jump
what?
over to Adam, being a member of your Patreon. I do know that you went out for Free Comic Book Day. Kind of talk about your experience and maybe
Yeah.
just in general what you think. I'm going to go back to my drawing screen.
Yeah.
Realizing.
I mean, I love Free Comic Book Day, and I've never experienced a better Free Comic Book Day than at Oh Yeah Comics. Joe makes it crazy. I mean, it's insane. I was not there though with you this year. I was here. Let's see that day. So that was actually a good day, but not because of Free Comic Book Day. Um, I took two of my students. We went and saw Thunderbolts because we're all dorks. Um, but I took that morning. I took Egum, my pup, and we walked over to. Um, I'm gonna hold off on naming the name for
Yeah,
now. I'll throw it in there later. But walked over to my one of my LCSs, my local LCSs,
yeah. Your local comic shop.
and it's I don't know. I was sad about it honestly because the shop used to be right over here, and it's where we would do our drinking draws, and it was the manager there, who's still the manager of the new place, um, took like a year and just built this place into just such a magnificent comic book store, like where you could like walk and it was sprawling. You could like look in all the corners. There was all this stuff to see, and there was a downstairs. It was huge, and then a different person, the owner of the shop, moved it because they were doing construction on the building. They were going to tear it down, so they didn't have a choice. But he moved it into this really tiny, tiny, tiny spot, and now that shop is just a shadow of what it used to be. And I walked in there that morning, Free Comic Book Day, when every other shop, I'm sure, was like, or most shops should be like bustling. And there was just nobody in there. And uh, it was just sad, like the shop is just really sad. And there was no other shop like it. And now it's just like, do you guys remember what Oh Yeah used to be before Joe took it over?
Yeah,
Any of you? I mean, it was just like a empty space for the most part with a little bit of stuff. It was still cool, but Joe turned it into what it is, and um, now it's like a place that everybody wants to be and hang out, and whatever.
yeah.
Like this place is like the opposite of that, and so it was tough to see that. And I didn't even bother going over to Chicago Comics, which is down the block. I was just like, I got my 3 frees that I wanted, and that was it. But I will say, speaking of Keenspot, I grabbed that Mark Spears Monsters book. Did
Hmm.
you guys see that?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm a horror fan. Mark Spears, do you know Mark Spears? He's an artist and writer, and he got his name, I guess, pretty much through his Kickstarter where he did trading cards a couple years ago or whatever. So he's got a book, his monsters book, and it's like kind of a riff on the Universal monsters, but in his style, and there's a story behind it. It is hands down the best comic book I've ever gotten on a Free Comic Book Day, and one of the best comics that I have read in years. So if you like monsters, pick it up, and it was just great. So that made my day definitely, and then also going to see the movie with these kids was awesome. Um, but yeah, that was my Free Comic Book Day.
And you're talking about mentioning Joe and All Yeah Comics. Um, when I started to participate a couple years ago, going down for the event, and coming from the Crimson Call, which had since closed, my local comic shop, and they jumping in, like I had that void where I'm just like, oh man, I miss that kind of being
Yeah.
part of the cast, part of the staff, and then I just kind of weaseled my way into comics where I'm just like, oh, I've done this before. I'll take care of this. Oh, you need this done? Yeah, I can go this. And now I'm like, I'm a self-appointed restocker of the comics issues. There's
Nice.
the self-titled issues for Art and Franco's books and everything. So like right when I got there on Saturday, I just told Joe, I'm just like, oh, I'll go restock all these, go down to the basement, storage, and get all, replenish all the issues and look for some linkage and restock linkage and all the good stuff. And yeah, so it's fun just to kind of like throw myself in there. And then myself and Brian, I know Adam in a past year had man the table and stuff for Free Comic Book Day, and me and Brian took over and kind of showed people, as I mentioned. But one of the cool things was that they ended up having like what, if not their best day, but like one of the best days they've ever had at the store. Like completely bumping, just like action packed the whole way through. They're just like was very rare downtime, and it's kind of like the excitement that Adam was probably talking about of that other shop of that it's since changed and kind of got toned down. Like it was amazing that it was just there was no time to kind of relax in that way. And but yeah, it was fun to be there for that and kind of help out. And then what made it special, at least what Joe has been making the Free Comic Book Day weekend special, is that on Sundays they do another version of it. So
All right. Yeah.
they'll try to have something for that Friday, and then they'll have the main day for Saturday, and have some big guests. Art will be there, and then have Nick Pyle was there. They had the awesome artist crew of Strange Deer Press was there, and then on Sunday, I had the pleasure of being invited alongside Brian Lynch of Hot Wing of Justice to table there. Brian is tabled there for the release of his Pumpkin book and stuff like that, our beloved Pumpkin book. Uh, and but this was my first time setting up at the shop or a shop in general, and it was an awesome experience just to kind of be, a quote unquote guest. Whether or not people knew who that guest was, but it was fun to set it up there and be next to Art and Brian right down the way, and selling books and selling art and meeting new people and stuff like that. Um, D. Brad, are you freezing on your drawing screen?
No, I see movement.
Oh, okay. Is he froze?
T.
He
Brad, are
might.
you frozen? He is. I think he is. Or he's very sad.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
There he is.
And you're back. You were frozen there for a second. So
Worried.
It says you guys were frozen to me and all choppy, so I went on a different internet.
okay, yeah, we
But
were
my,
all still going, and yeah, but you're good now.
yeah, but my phone doesn't seem to be. It seems to be frozen.
Ooh.
it
Uh,
looks good to me.
yeah,
Oh,
right
does
now
it?
it's moving, but it's nothing's. It's kind of really close and it's jumbled. Okay, I think we're back in order. So yeah, with setting up there on Sunday, it was a super fun time. For 2025, Art Baltazar was the featured artist for the merchandise here. So all the shops had the option of ordering the official shirt that Art designed for this specific. We have some Yogg's characters on there. We got Patrick that's wolfed out. We got Gilbert on there. Drew and Jod got Action Cat and Adventure Bug, and yeah, so it was cool to be at the store with Art, with this art, his art on the shirt, and seeing other stores across the country if they bought the shirts and stuff like that. And yeah, so it's kind of cool to be at home base, if you will, for with the commemorative artist of that year. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. And talking about Brian Lynch, we're going to do some promotion for him here. He had something very special to debut on that Free Comic Book Day Sunday. He had his Jokin' Pumpkin character, which he introduced these blind boxes. He had some friends of his to come up with a 3D design and 3D print and all that kind of stuff to create. Here it is on the screen. Jokin' the Pumpkin, and
terrifying.
his own little figurine. And it is ridiculous that this is a real thing now.
I need to get one of those.
So yeah, he sold about half of them. Reach out to Hot Wing of Justice on Instagram if you want to get one mailed to you, because what they are, yeah, blind boxes. There are a bunch of different colors, but then there was a gold and a white one. I think that were only printed one of each to kind of be exclusive chase variants and whatever the lingo is. I happen to get one of the red ones here. Rogers, you have one that's being shipped to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, he sent it out the other day, so I think it'll be here Tuesday probably.
Cool, cool.
I have to leave and rejoin. Something's going wrong
Okay.
with my internet. Might be a couple minutes.
All right, I'll watch for the
Gotta
alert.
reboot everything.
I'm guessing he's just scared of joking.
Ugh.
We'll see you
My
soon.
phone might still be on.
Okay.
Don't talk about him.
Yeah. All right. So, so he had the debut of these things, and I told Joe, I'm like, next year, I'm like, am I going to have a Race Christopher toy just to compete with Brian here? Just
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? So I think I might have to take some tips here, but he has some plans for future series. So, we'll probably see more of this. I don't know what different poses or different characters. Hopefully we'll see the Herald and his hot wing maybe, but so if you want one of these guys, we talked about the Project Pumpkin book that some of us had art in, and there will be another edition of the book released hopefully sometime this year, I would imagine. But yeah, so it was cool just hanging out and doing all that. And the last thing I want to promote from Free Comic Book Day is that Lavi, another past guest on the show, Lavi HQ, she hand delivered her very first self-published comic book because I had pre-ordered one. So here it is, Leaving Nowhere. This is a story that acknowledges that not every relationship hold on, let me put this in the light. Acknowledges that not every relationship can or even needs to be salvaged. Sometimes the right move is to simply move on. This was a personal story that she told here in a full issue of a comic book, and dedicated to those who needed to hear it too. You are already worthy. Lavi HQ, she had done her webcomic for Deck Kingdom, and then she had this goal of creating a comic book, and she has some other exciting things in the works as well. So if you want a copy of Lavi's very first self-published comic book, reach out to Lavi HQ as well. Once again, just promoting our past guest here on the show. And if you really need a special incentive you don't need any incentive beyond Lavi and her art and her storytelling, but just in case, I do have a blurb on the back of this book here. So if you come to me in the wild, I will sign the back of this book here. So just because it has my blurb. So people
Nice.
autograph books because they have blurbs on, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a normal thing.
But you just have to write blurb. That's all you can.
Yes. So Free Comic Book Day 2025 was awesome. It was exhausting as by Sunday night and Monday morning, and as Rogers trying to get his voice back and all of that kind of stuff. But it's always a lot of fun. And Art said he's just like, we should do this every week. That's a very Art.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh yeah, and then Art too, because we were also celebrating the belated birthday of Abraham Linkage. On one of his past live shows, he was talking about linkage and saying how at the release party that they had hot link sausages, and I've said that is my single greatest moment on earth, is being there for that day of Abraham Linkage's birthday. And so he thought to celebrate the birthday, he also had some hot link sausages in store. I don't think there's a single comic book store in the entire world that you can go get free comic books free comic books, browse the shop for awesome other comic books, and get a free hot link sausage.
I think you're right.
Yep. Name
I've
of
never
our
heard of one.
iconic duo.
The first time I was ever at that shop, I think it was the first time. Yeah, it was before Joe, took it over, was even close to working there. Um, I'm pretty sure it was Free Comic Book Day, and it was some event, and they had a table outside, and I think it was Bernie or somebody making hot dogs for everybody.
Oh, sure. Oh,
And
yeah.
hot dog kid, right?
No,
At
no,
at the shop.
I don't think so.
Oh man.
Is
Next
he
time you're in
different?
there,
Is he different than Orange Kid?
Orange Kid, it's hot dog. Yeah,
Oh,
it's hot.
I didn't-
Same kid, same kid.
oh, I didn't. I just took a guess, but yeah, I guess Orange Kid.
Yeah, Orange Kid is hot dog kid. He was
Cool.
hot dog kid before he was Orange Kid because
Oh man,
he ended up
Secret
dyeing
Origin.
his hair, and he was really young back then because that was like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah.
But he was like, Dad, can I get a hot dog? And Dad like, yeah, okay, fine. And he goes to like get a hot dog and like knocks all the hot dogs off the table, like, and they roll like, like when like logs roll off of a truck on the highway, everybody's
Final
had that.
Destination situation.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's what happened with these hot dogs. And he's just like, oh, hot dogs. And it's just like hot dog kid, To this day, he must have his brain must have created some sort of barrier to forget that moment. But I love reminding him.
I was gonna say, like he did so well at kind of doing that by getting an entirely new nickname that I didn't
Yeah.
even know about his secret oranges for his
Yeah.
For the hot dog kid. So
Yep.
now I'm wondering if it was Jimmy the Muscle is known to be the one like grilling up burgers and dogs and stuff. So I wonder
I think it was after his time,
Oh, okay, so he had passed that down to Bernie.
as far as I can remember.
Sweet Bernie.
Yeah, sweet.
Welcome back, D. Brad. Hopefully you weren't waiting too long because I looked up. I'm like, oh, he's asking to come in.
No, yeah, my internet is not working very well, so
Okay.
I might be choppy. I don't know, and I just turned off my phone, but I might turn it back on in a bit.
This will be a good time to check in on some drawings that people can show. Here's my Kermit the Frog here.
Love it.
Might do something to the background yet.
I hope.
Yeah, here he is. Just waiting for some extra detail here, and it's Kermit. But
Nice.
drawn Kermit a lot of times, and this is one of the few times where I didn't need the reference for like the pose and stuff. Like, I'm a very reference reliant person, even if it's the same thing I've drawn, tons of times before. But this might be me finding out that I've drawn Kermit more than anything else. So yeah, I was able to kind of whip this one up, and see he's got his own little charm to him, and that's Kermit the Frog.
I like it.
Yeah, it actually you can tell that there's a hand inside of it too.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I like that. Good.
I was kind of like always remembering that, like just like when you listen to podcasts or behind the scenes stuff and people, working with the Muppets and Henson and all that stuff, kind of talking about like, it was probably Guy Gilchrist is probably the one that talked about it on his Instagram. He's got such an awesome Instagram and going
Yeah, he
live
does.
and showing his art and process and stuff. And, he was the one that I think was just talking about like, yeah, when you draw him, just, remember, like there is a hand that's inside that puppet, and you kind of,
That's so awesome.
that's part of how you don't draw him as a frog, you draw him as a puppet frog, so
There's a hand in there?
yeah, that's why his mouth is closed, because I thought it'd be weird if you see some fingers kind of sticking out.
That's like those. Have you seen those, like the shots from the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where they like freeze frame it, where one of the turtles is like fighting and his mouth is open and inside, like you can see the
Eyes.
face of the guy.
There's one where like
It's terrifying.
there's one where like Donatello, I think they're at the farm and he's laughing, and as the turtle is leaning back, his head is leaned back and laughing, his mouth is wide open, and then you also see the actual mouth and teeth of the actor underneath.
Wow.
And I have a feeling we've shown that or talked about it in the past episode, because I think that photo is on my in the Cartoonist by Night archive here. So, Adam, you want to show off what you've been working on there,
I do just
if you can?
well, You know what? You're not gonna be able to see it, but I'll do it anyway. Let's
Oh,
see.
it comes in.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lizard Liz,
Yeah, it shows up real nice.
Garbage Pail Kid, Lizard Liz. I'm gonna start inking it. It'll be more visible in a minute.
Cool. And D. Brad, we don't have your drawing screen anymore, but can you show off on your screen there and what you've been doodling?
Doodles.
I love it. I love your style, D. Brad. It's like it's such a surprise. I guess I didn't realize until whatever previous show that you had superpowers like that.
Super.
And a lot more people saw it too from Jamie Cosley had posted. D. Brad did some pinup work for Blue Scar.
Yeah. The outfits were kind of chilly, but I did what I could.
Well, the future Anthony is going to put those images in for us to ooh and ah over. So, ooh.
Oh man!
Oh, wow, D. Brad.
Wow! Speaking of,
Model. Yeah.
speaking of, I totally forgot I had this applesauce sitting here, you guys. I'm gonna dig in real quick.
Bust out some applesauce.
They always have old warm food sitting at the desk in the office when we clock out.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what's in this? And they're like, cheese sticks. I'm like, from 10 a.m. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool.
Plastic. It's in plastic. It's okay.
Nope, they're not. No, I'm talking about like what do you call them? Fried cheese.
Fried cheese.
Mozzarella.
Like cheese, like fried mozzarella, whatever you call it. Yeah.
Yeah, cheese sticks. Yeah.
Man, school food is
Dogs.
disgusting. It's the worst garbage ever.
Yeah.
There was, I forget if I said it on here, but like if you're making a pizza at home and like, some cheese falls off the pizzazz pizza oven, and
Yeah, son.
I like it when it gets a little fried, a little burnt, and then peel that off, nice little
Yeah.
crispy thing. And there was a couple years ago when I had some of that off of when I was making it at home, and it like all of a sudden I had a memory of just like, oh, this reminds me of grade school pizza. And that's when it hit me that grade school pizza was just burnt all the time.
Yeah.
But like, but I craved it because I'm like, oh, this brought me back. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's just burnt cheese. But it was a memory.
Well, yours was probably that. When I was in school, it was that rectangle.
We had rectangles, yeah.
Undercooked. Ours was undercooked.
Oh,
all the
ours
time.
was definitely over. So, okay.
But we had like
My
good.
school.
I remember having like a food, like in junior high specifically, like a food bar, and the teachers could get lunch and they wanted to. And there's like choices. There was like fried chicken and pizza and all this fries and salad. We had a salad bar. And today it's like, what's for lunch? Or nowadays it's like, what's for lunch? And it's like, I don't know, nachos. But the nachos are like some kind of like plastic disc shards, and the cheese is some kind of like, I don't know, it smells like skunks and tape, and like it's just so like. And I always ask the kids, like there's one kid in particular, I'm like, what was lunch today? And he's like, oh, you don't want to know. Like it's unedible garbage.
I will say this. I would 100% read a cartoony comic book called Skunks and Tape. Like if that's a skunk and whatever tape would be, but like a character or whatever.
Would it be skunks and tape, or would it be skunk and tape and they're two different characters?
Skunk and Tape, yeah.
Yeah, like the N apostrophe, right?
Yeah.
Skunk and Tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would read that. So just putting that out there in the world.
Maybe I'll try to do. I'll try to make that happen for you.
Copyright, trademark, Adam Crohn.
That's the big thing, eh? The big thing about coming up with a comic is the title, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be, I always find that hard.
Because like that title can inform the entire thing, like the entire project.
Yeah. Like there's that one in Investigators.
Yeah.
And so you come up with an idea. Oh, I've got alligators that investigate.
Right, man.
Or you just go with something that Ash S did here, and you just call it "Let's Get Burgers."
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
good.
awesome.
Great.
Let's get what?
Is that a kid's book or is that a comic? What is that?
It's a like collection of web comics that this person does.
Let's get burgers. I
It's
love
so
that.
good. It's just
Let's
this
get
little,
burger.
it's this, there's a cat named Knife and a dog named Cheddar.
Nice.
Nice.
Dislikes capitalism, sleep paralysis, and itchy sweaters.
That's amazing.
Where'd you find that?
This is just there. It's a Silver Sprocket book, and our local store has an entire shelf that is just Silver Sprocket stuff. I've never been disappointed with anything that they've published.
Oh yeah, that sounds
Yeah, they
fun. I
do.
like that. It goes
That's
under the
fun.
file of things I wish I thought of too.
Yeah, definitely.
Right next to Race Christopher, right?
Yep.
That's right.
And talking about, names and stuff, like that's one thing where I'm like, regardless if anybody buys the book when I have it like on a table there, like it always gets a laugh when they see the character and they see the name. It always gets a laugh. I mean, sure, they'd get more laughs if they, bought the book and read it and stuff, but I at least get a lot of satisfaction that it gets a reaction of just the title alone.
It is pretty great. Like you've got yourself a what was it? Let's Get Burgers. You've got yourself a Let's Get Burgers
Yeah,
thing going on right there.
yeah. You have a. I killed him.
You killed him. That's right.
Happy Astronaut issue 2 for if you want to figure out what that. He killed
I was
an
like, he'll
alternate.
never be able to make a book of this guy. Oh, dang it.
I'm working on the third one.
Yeah, I'll try to join my phone again.
Okay. And while you try to do that, I think I know the answer to this, but is there free comic book day in Canada?
There is
There is. Have you
On the same day?
on the same, yeah,
It's like a
same
couple
day.
months later.
Wow.
Do you have any experience, memories, or any attachment to that at all? Can you kind of talk about if you have any free comic book day memories? You were freezing up when it was going to be your turn, so
Oh, um, I I don't remember anything about any free comic book day.
no.
No,
Sounds
I
like
don't
they need a Joe Crone up in Canada
remember.
to get them going.
No, I don't think. When did free comic book day start? I wonder.
I think it was 1971.
No.
No, I don't know. I used to actually know the answer to this, and I've since forgotten it.
I had to take a wild guess. When was the crash in the 90s?
Oh, in there?
96-ish.
You talking about the
Bankruptcy.
bankruptcy? That was, I think it
Yeah.
was 96, 98, somewhere in there.
I imagine a couple of years after that is probably when they were like, I know
Makes
how to
sense.
cure this problem of not
Right.
making money.
Yeah.
Let's give it away. I'm going to fact check this live and not rely on future Anthony.
Yeah, I don't have any fond memories of free comic day. I haven't
Only
been.
the bad
Yeah.
ones.
I've got the year.
No.
It was May 4th, 2002.
Yeah, 2002. Okay, yeah. All right.
Man, I got it. I'm just
That was 2002. I was getting my comics shipped to me from my hometown in Winnipeg. So maybe I didn't, but I did go to a shop downtown Vancouver back then. But yeah, no, I have zero memories of free comic book day, but I know it exists.
heck yeah, dude.
But I remember getting free comics, but I don't remember what they are because it's been so long.
So this year you didn't participate.
No, I don't. The nearest comic shop is 3 hours away from me.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to the capital city,
Alberta?
You need to move.
British Columbia.
Brian Lynch came out with a mini free comic because, once again, he's always way ahead of the game. I think it's in the other room at this moment, and a lot of things would fall over if I stand up right now. But yeah, he's been
Are
doing.
you okay? You all right?
I will be, yeah. It's just that there's a lot of tables and
Oh,
water
okay.
bottles and markers and.
All right. You're not gonna faint.
No, I'll be fine on that. It would just, yeah. There's a lot of obstacles. I should have said that. But yeah, Brian Lynch does mini comics and with his Harold and his Hot Wing of Justice characters and stuff. And so yeah, he had another one. I think this was his fourth. Is it his fourth year doing it already?
Yeah. That guy, he's always like cooking something.
Yep. That's and Art was kind of talking how like his son Gordy had commented on like Brian Lynch and Anthony Laatsch and just being like, those guys are just, oh, there's Deep Red asking to jump in here. Gordy's something along the lines of just saying like, hey, those guys, they're just doing it. Like they're doing what you're doing, Dad. Like they're just making stuff and just there's nobody stopping them from making stuff. And it's just kind of cool, just kind of seeing that from the outside in and, having Art buy some of my stuff on Sunday was pretty cool. And just seeing his reaction on some of it. And yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Did he give you a smooch?
Cut this out. Well, I'll tell that story later. No.
What a cheapskate. Just kidding.
I preferred the money.
Well, yeah.
No offense.
So
Now that you said that, that's a great segue into I have two other responses for
you're welcome.
any random questions. So my brother Adam, he asks, did you order this weather?
Nice.
So,
That's a great question. What kind of weather are you having?
probably having, I would say similar to probably you, but we're getting into that pre-summer, sunny days and getting into some 70s here and there. So the change happens when you think you're out of winter, but you don't want to start celebrating quite yet.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing to ask, being in having in the day job that I have and stuff and getting asked the question like, hey, did you order this weather? That's a common thing. Does anybody else get asked that?
That specific question?
Yeah.
No.
Because that's very much I have a lot of experience with getting asked if I ordered that weather, and usually I'll say, yeah, I ordered even more of it too, but just on back order.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Mean. So rude.
So yes, Adam, my brother, I did in fact order this specific weather. And another one here. Oh, look at this. Jokin Lantern also replied. So Brian Lynch created another account for the Jokin Pumpkin character. So that also means he gets to ask us even more questions from different accounts. So Jokin Lantern over on Instagram, he asked, do you give random answers to random questions?
Yes.
Sometimes. Almost exclusively.
Sometimes I'll give answers to questions that weren't even asked.
Oh.
Green.
Before they even ask them sometimes, huh?
Yes. Yes. I hate drawing sometimes.
Why do you hate drawing sometimes?
Because you have to, when you're making a comic book, like you have to make at least one panel.
Oh, sing it.
Look really cool. I'm doing the spoken word part.
Man, my
And
internet, everything is chopping. I can't hear anything.
Happy.
He's freaking out, everybody.
Oh.
You get too many compliments all across the Cartoonist by Night episodes, and
What's happening?
It's affecting his computer.
I'll try.
I'm gonna have to invest in some more green markers because I think I've used a lot of green over the years, and I've somehow decided to work on both Kermit and Oscar tonight, and I gotta test a lot of the greens before I use them and before I commit to see if I have enough.
Oh man, do a throwback and make Oscar orange.
Oh yeah. That
Was he originally orange?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
No
was, yeah.
way, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that too. I think we talked about that possibly on Brian Lynch's Muppets episode. So I remember seeing that image.
That horrifying image.
There was something speaking of Kermit's birthday and such, on the day that we are recording, the Henson Company promoted this book that's coming out, a Sam and Friends script book that's got like a bunch of the scripts from that show, and which I am assuming you can just kind of watch bits and pieces of on YouTube and such. But yeah, very intrigued by that announcement, and I got to look into when that book comes out.
Are they the ones that were in those old coffee commercials
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like where
where they
Kermit first
brutally
showed up.
murder each other?
Oh, terrifying. Those things are crazy.
Yeah,
I
Amazing.
think the Muppets or no, the Saturday Night Live stuff. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure it all used to be on like Amazon or something. And I started from the beginning and just started watching it. It's just so weird how they thought that fit into the show, you know?
Yeah, the movie Saturday Night that Jason Reitman recently directed, which is kind of a version of the first night of SNL, and I really enjoyed it. I think they had a lot of good actors playing the roles of the original not ready for primetime players, but they had like somebody playing Jim Henson in there, and they kind of at least a version of however that night went behind the scenes of people that were there and have written about it. But talking about not wanting the Muppets there, and like and just kind of seeing how they were going to be treated and this and that, because all that stuff was relatively new, and especially to figuring out what SNL was going to be on that very first night, and just like it almost didn't air because of the chaos that it was happening, that they were getting ready to re-air a Johnny Carson episode just because they're like, all right, we don't have a show, but yeah, those Muppets on SNL, yeah, those were some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Weird, wild stuff.
I had just enough green to get the base for Oscar here before I go in with some details.
Great. Great job.
What kind of markers did you use, Anthony?
I will grab the bake here. While I don't want to pay for the expensive one, I use like the Copics the expensive ones. I use this brand, Ogilvy.
Okay.
Ogilvy.
And basically, it was a set of 80. I ended up buying 2 of them. These have been lasting me a couple years now, minus a couple greens that I need. I think it was maybe like 25 or $30 for a set of these. And everything that I've drawn physically in the last 2 to 3 years have been used with those. And then these are the colors of the that arrived in that set. There's a couple like these ones over here. There was a separate set of browns and skin tones and things like that I bought separately.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll say this, since I only color like small sketch cards, it works really well. So as far as, can't vouch for them for larger, canvases and how they hold up and bleed and stuff. But at least for smaller canvases, I'm very happy with them.
Nice. Have you ever? I usually wait until Michael's does like a buy 3 get 2 free thing, and then I'll have like a $5 or $10 voucher as well. And so, but I've been getting it. I tried some Oahu,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
the thing.
I really dig them, and they're super cheap compared to Copic. Yeah, those are great.
They're
But
the
they
best
just
fine liners I've ever used.
really okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get into their stuff a little bit more. But they just announced that like they're raising their prices because of all the tariff garbage and whatever. But I don't know. But still, they're really reasonable compared to Copic.
Yeah. I don't know much about supplies and such, and I've just kind of just took a gamble on these, and I'm just like, oh, they're better than just whatever. I used to just use colored pencils for a lot of things, but I'm very happy with these. Once again, for small canvases.
Yeah.
Someone else, if they're doing something that's not 2.5 by 3.5, they'd be like, all right, these suck, but maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. New ruler. Gotta put a new ruler in here. Mm.
So
I found out so I use Clip Studio Paint for all my artwork, and they have perspective rulers that are built in, and it allows you to easily do perspective instead of it being a nightmare like it usually is. And the best part about it is if you use a 1 point perspective, it just makes basically a grid. And what I do is I will, if I have to have a room that is going to be in multiple issues or scenes, I'll make a floor plan from above of the room and where everything is in it. And then if I need a 2 point perspective, I'll bring that in and then I'll lay the image of the blueprint down on the floor part, and it'll automatically have vanishing points and everything. And then I have reference for where furniture and stuff is supposed to go in the scene.
It's awesome.
ooh,
I'm such a pro.
Wild. It's wild, bro.
I'm I I'm not driving. What?
it's just funny how you said that.
Well, I'm not.
Uh,
Anthony, would you like an exclusive?
yes.
All right, I'm gonna give you an exclusive. Some I'm working on the side.
Hey,
Those?
Do the other guys have to look away?
No,
Oh, okay,
no,
all
it's
of
good.
them can. Okay,
I just haven't really. I just haven't really
yeah. Let's hear
put
it.
much thought into this, so it could be not interesting, but whatever. Those for anybody who has animals, dog, cat, whatever, and there's these stickers that say you can put them on your door. It says "Save my animals" if there's a fire or whatever. You
Oh,
ever seen
Okay.
those? Usually they're
Thanks.
very simple, and they have the silhouette of an animal or whatever, and then it's that black and yellow bars that show pay attention to this. Anyway, I'm doing a series of stickers for that, but I guess a little bit more creative, which I guess ultimately could just look like a sticker that's on your door that's kind of cool, but
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. So anyway, the first ones came in and they're awesome, but also they don't really get the point across, but
Ooh, oh,
says says animal inside.
awesome.
So it's
That's
that's
pretty
that's
cool.
that's my three-legged cat,
I
mother
was, I
fluffer.
was going to point that out for anybody wondering because
Yeah. So I have a three-legged cat. Her name's Mother Fluffer, and that's her uh, deadlifting or whatever, some weights. But it's kind of I don't know. After I got them printed up, I feel like the message is more
I was going to say, yeah. Does it get the message across? Yeah.
yeah. There's more like a message of hey, we've all got this animal inside. It doesn't matter if you're missing an arm, you got an animal inside. Like that,
Oh,
almost
yeah,
like some kind of sports drink advertisement or something.
Yeah.
yeah. Mother,
Yeah,
mother fluffer energy drink.
yeah, no fear, some garbage like that.
No.
Yeah, I could definitely.
Some extreme something that some redneck is going to put on their
Mountain
flatbed.
Dew.
Yeah.
Like,
It's yeah, whatever.
that's an awesome design and drawing and cool and message. But yeah, I could also understand that. Yeah, maybe it's not like. Is there a way of having a circle around it, and then around the circle you have
Flames.
Barbed wire.
yeah, something, yeah,
But yeah,
can of Red Bull.
yeah, I'm definitely. It's a work in progress, but I'm going to do a whole
That's
series.
cool. No, that's cool. I dig it.
Yeah. I think it would be well. I guess that'd be weird, but anyway, I'm going to do one with Egum and one with Mooj and then I'll do a different one with Mother Fluffer. But
Awesome.
I like it. I like it.
I enjoy that. just so you know.
Yeah. And spoiler free, I also saw Thunderbolts, but any thoughts on Thunderbolts you want to share?
Yeah. You meaning me? Did anybody else see it? Who
Yeah,
else saw
Adam.
it?
I think we're the only two
Oh,
Adams
okay.
so far. Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. Although Marvel totally
Yeah,
spoiled.
we're we're
That's
we're keep we're not even saying that. We discussed
yeah.
that. So for
Okay.
some people that,
Okay.
yep.
I really enjoyed it. It was good. It was refreshing to walk out of a Marvel movie and be like, "Hey, nice job," you know,
Yeah.
because it's been so long. The Sentry is one of my all-time favorite
Mm.
characters in Marvel ever since I remember sitting. Do you guys know much about the Sentry?
Just from the new Avengers comics. Yeah.
Like the Bendis run?
Yeah, Bandits Run.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Dark.
if you ever get the chance, go back and check out Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee's miniseries where his first appearance. It
Hmm.
came it came out, for those who don't know, he was a character that was created in real life in 2003 or 5 by Jay Lee and Paul Jenkins for this miniseries, and nobody bought it. It went under the radar. But the origin is that Stan Lee created it, which he
Oh,
did. It was like a retcon saying that because it goes along with the character's origin that in that miniseries, Reed Richards and Doctor Strange had to mind wipe the Marvel universe to forget about the Sentry because of the Sentry Void split. Like whenever he uses his good powers, the bad side comes out as well. So, um,
okay.
but it was cool because it was like, yeah, this is a character that Stan Lee created back in the 60s that everybody forgot about in real life and in the Marvel universe. It was genius, but the comic didn't sell until Bendis. And I remember reading New Avengers number 3. I was in college and I pulled into the parking lot and I skipped class because I had just gotten it. I was like, I need to read this. And I remember reading that issue and turning the page and you see Robert Reynolds sitting in the prison with his beard and this cool suit. And you're like, who is this dude?
Mhm.
And ever since, I've just been a huge fan. And they did him all right in the movie. I think they could have done more, but I'm glad that it looks like we'll see more. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And I love Winter Soldier, man. I love Bucky. Give him movies all day long. He's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's him and Tom Hiddleston as Loki that I think have been part of every phase since the beginning. Like they're the longest running,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
executive actors on screen. Including the TV shows and stuff with Loki and everything. But
Totally. It's like I love Anthony Mackie's fine. I love the character of Sam Wilson, but man, Bucky as Captain America in the comics was some of the greatest stuff I've ever read. I really wish they had done that
mhm.
in the
Yeah.
movies. I think that was a huge disservice to the MCU to skip that part.
Right.
So I love seeing him when he turns up. He's badass and he's hilarious. He's so dry, his comedy. But it was a good cast all around, decent movie.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I think it was a good vehicle for like all these characters and actors that are people love and stuff like that. And are they is there enough time for everybody to have a mini series and a movie and this and that? And it's kind of a good way to kind of assemble all these people that are either have nothing to do with each other or like the ghost character from Ant-Man from 10 years ago of like that most people probably forgot about, but now throwing her into the mix, and it's just kind of a cool vehicle to like just bring some of these people back. And that's one thing I've liked like in the new Captain America, of without any spoilers, but bringing things that happened in 2008 from the Incredible Hulk movie, and like
Yeah.
being like, hey, we're gonna just like keep doing this, whether or not you remembered or cared or whatever. But especially to be those actors and stuff too, being like, oh wow, I'm coming back 16 years later. Okay, cool.
Which
Like,
is another
yeah.
great underrated movie, that 2008. That's my favorite Hulk.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, but yeah, Thunderbolts, I had a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing it again.
Are you guys looking forward to Fantastic Four?
Yes.
I am 100%. You
Um,
still
I'm on the
wait
fence.
and
I'm on the
see.
fence.
Oh, you're on the fence this time.
Yeah.
Normally,
Sorry,
Ryan.
Matt. Sorry, Matt. I gotta. Can you scoot over just for a second?
Yeah, you're good, man.
All
There's
right.
room.
There's plenty of room over here.
You know, it. I am very. I'm an easy customer, an easy viewer, easy listener, whatever. I'm a easy audience, I think, is what I'm thinking of. But I'm
You're
very
easy?
excited. What's that?
You say you're easy?
Yeah, I'm very easy, and I'm very excited for the tone of this, and I think the people who did the WandaVision show, which is my favorite MCU thing, I think they had a hand in this, and I just like the tone, the era, the music, the vibe of the old fashionedness, and then within the trailer of seeing Silver Surfer and Galactus and such, that I'm excited for just to see another take and leading being a big movie prior to the upcoming Avengers movies. I'm all jazzed for it because I really like the time period and the '60s era of pop culture and stuff like that, and the way they speak. But yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
hey, cat, what you doing? Cool.
hey,
I
daddy.
think it's going to be. I think I can understand people that have reservations
Yeah,
because they haven't done a good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean that with the most respect possible. But like I'm sure they're good, but are like they to me I haven't seen the newest one, but I saw the first two, and I watched the Roger Corman one.
Which
Uh,
is fantastic.
in that really bad, like awesome way. Um, but I think it looks good. The cast is really good, and I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for Superman,
oh yeah,
and I think it's going to be a good summer.
yeah, yeah. We get both of them in July, so
It's going to be nuts.
Fantastic
Like,
Four and Superman are both in July.
yeah.
Yeah.
Superman's earlier, and then Fantastic Four is the 25th, I think. And then I think a couple weeks before that is Superman.
it's going to be so good.
Yeah, I'm a Fantastic Four fan. Enjoyed the movies for what they were. A lot of fun, but I like that we had those because now we can see another take on it and see some things that we haven't seen that maybe they didn't. You know, Galactus, for instance. You know Galactus then back in like 2007, 2008 would have just been big, silly, and goofy to a lot of people. But now, like in an established MCU of like talking raccoons and talking trees and like just all of the stuff that's happened that is now like embracing, certain costumes and things like that. I think it's a good time to have a giant, goofy looking Galactus, as far as on the movie screen. And I see it goofy with lots of love. So
Yeah, I understand totally what you're saying, but when it comes to Goofy, it's like the Galactus cloud. Like, talk about Goofy. Like, just do what Galactus is. They
and
always try. They always try to avoid Goofy by totally making something goofy.
and when you go back on that movie, like whether or not it's like when you see the shadow come up like on the Earth or the Moon or whatever it was, you see like a stretched out version of what his helmet looks like.
Yeah,
Like you see a tease that like okay the guy is there but yeah they mask him with it being a cloud and blah blah blah, but like there's like a little bit of like a stretched silhouette shadow of his headdress
headdress.
headdress. I thought that was the right word at the time.
I just
I
called
may,
it a hat.
I may regret it later.
Our head shorts.
um uh Side note, I'm having a lot of fun just doing the scribble details on Oscar, realizing that the more sloppy, the better it looks. Like just being like,
That's right.
I'm just doing this. I'm gonna go in some black pencil later too. But yeah, I'm having
I
too much
love it.
fun not caring how.
He's a lot of fun to draw.
Yeah, I think I'm the owner of. I bought your Oscar, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I should have set that aside, but future Anthony could put that image up here
All right.
for because right now it's tucked away in a portfolio.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I gave that. I made stickers of that and gave those stickers and then my Baby Yoda stickers to all the eighth graders and all the eighth grade teachers.
Mm.
And so now, and I'm like, put them wherever, stick them wherever you want.
Yeah,
Every single sticker that I handed out, so like 50 or 60 of them of each, they're all on everybody's computers, their Chromebooks,
Yeah.
and we're not supposed to put anything on them. And every single one in the eighth grade has those on it.
as your art. That's
Like
awesome.
everywhere you look, it's just like my stuff. It's
Everywhere.
pretty radical.
Everywhere you look.
Everywhere,
Somebody who
everywhere.
as I look at the
Yeah.
time, we're going to be rolling into some plugs and credits and wrap up and stuff like that. So I'm going to show off the art that I did here. Kermit the Frog, I think there's something that I got to do yet, maybe with the background or some details or highlights yet. So there's something I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll put some lasers in and it'll be a school photo.
Ooh,
But yeah, so there's a Kermit the Frog, and then this is my first time ever drawing Oscar, beyond probably drawing him as a kid sometime, but I'm happy with that. And
It's
then
like
later on, I've got a big bird to draw, which I outlined him in blue pencil, and I might just go ahead with that, follow that bird blue version again because I love that version.
it's great.
So yeah, that's what I did there. Any progress you want to show off, Adam, to as we kind of roll into?
I'm starting whatever loose inks and started coloring.
Oh,
But
you,
I'll shoot you over the finished version of it.
cool,
um,
cool. I dig it.
You better.
It's such a cool idea too. So
Thanks, man. I appreciate.
that would is that whether or not it's worth it? I'm sure there's probably somebody that does it. Like if people take commissions of being like, draw me as a garbage pail kid. Like it seems like a cool
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
cool gimmick.
there's this weird like Garbage Pail Kids are my favorite thing to come out of the 80s. And I'm a huge 80s guy. My apartment is all vintage toys. But there's something about the Garbage Pail Kids, the memories attached, all that. So 1985 was the first series. Um, I've always like brought Garbage Pail stuff into my life to this day, but I stopped collecting the cards. Topps never stopped making them. And until I didn't buy new cards until this spring break, I think I found some in Target or something like that and bought some. Um, and so now I'm like addicted. I'm like trying to complete sets and all this stuff with the new stuff. But there's this weird trend going around. I joined a few Facebook groups for Garbage Pail Kids of people making themselves into Garbage Pail Kids using AI.
oh
Boy.
And
yeah.
it's gross. It's
Yeah,
gross in the bad way. Like Garbage Pail Kids are good gross.
yeah.
This is just it's like no. And they don't even look like Garbage Pail Kids, It just looks like a cartoony version of like some schlub. Um, Moral of the story, kids don't use AI for at least for art.
Yeah,
You know.
it's a bummer to hear.
Yeah.
You know what is not a bummer to hear? That while you were telling that story, I went into my collection so I didn't have to rely on future Anthony. But here is an original art here from Adam Crohn of Oscar the
Woo.
Grouch. Check this beauty out.
I love it.
Part of his 3D glasses series.
Yeah, I love that you own that of all people on the planet. That's awesome.
It was meant to be.
It's meant to be.
This is excellent.
Speaking of which, can I get that back?
Scram!
I love it. I need that back right now.
All right, I gotta make sure this is tucked away safely into the collection. Okay. D. Brad, take another look at your drawings here.
Take a look at me now.
Moving because on my screen it's frozen.
It's
It's moving. It's there.
moving.
It's moving.
I love it.
Too cool.
Are these your original guys or are they something else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're original. I just made them up today, so.
The two cats hugging, I'm getting Heathcliff vibes. You remember
Oh,
the
man.
cartoon? You remember the cartoon?
Oh yeah.
He
And
hates
he
still
had-
read-
it.
I'll
Yeah,
read Heath-
totally. And he had a
That posse,
girlfriend. He had the posse and
Junkyard.
girlfriend. Yeah, great cartoon.
awesome.
Neighborhood. Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
Anytime I see two cats hugging, that's what I think. Matt, what's going on over there, dude?
It's got a Macho
Do I
Man,
look
Bret
cool?
Hart's- Macho Man Bret Hart situation going on there.
Like it.
Oh,
My
yeah.
wife surprised me with these.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Like she was wearing them?
I don't think she tried that.
They
Did you
popped
try
out from behind a corner. She's like, "Hey, what do you think of my glasses?" Surprise!
Whoa, you surprised me.
it? Ugh. Are those for me?
Love it.
Yeah. They're way better than my usual. These Ray-Bans.
Do you wear those to work? I won't say what your work is, but do you wear them to work?
I wear my Ray-Bans to work.
He's
No,
a-
the other ones, the
No,
surprise ones.
no, those are special.
the Ray-Bans is from when he's a man in black.
Yeah,
These, honestly, the build quality of the surprise ones, I don't know if they would stand up to a day of work. But they look cool.
Only one way to find out.
Hey, Robin, I ruined your present.
Surprise.
Speaking of a day of work, I want to show you guys this. I don't know if it'll show up, but show you guys how I look at work.
Picturing Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future.
Oh, I saw this photo.
I was way off.
There was also video. There was also video I saw of you like walking down the street wearing that too, right?
Oh, yeah.
My neighborhood, my neighborhood thought I was insane. I was like a woman pulled her dog away from me. She was like, "Woo!" This was on my way to school. I was walking, and yeah, it was a blast, dude. That was wig day.
This is why everybody gets excited when they see you and they chant your name and
Yeah.
I guess so.
you're doing it.
I'm doing it.
And yeah, so I think that is it. We've taken a look at the art. There's one other thing I wanted to plug here because I got the physical copy of another past guest to plug our friends here. Jamie Cosley's best coloring book ever. If you type in Jamie Cosley coloring book on Amazon, that is where it's available. And this is amazing. Very inexpensive. I think there's like 80 plus pages in here. And it's taking all of his original character designs and just to show off some of those examples of Jamie Cosley's great cartooning work and characters. They're one of the best things about him is that he's one of the best to name characters. So we have Agent Tony Pony. Agent Tony Pony is great. You got the Sundown Hound. Like
Nice.
one character that's not in here that it's one of his best character names. He's just been posting them, and now it just dang it,
Windsor High Pants?
Windsor High Jumps. This frog character he's got, Windsor High Jumps.
High
Yeah.
jumps, yeah, not high pants.
Blue Scar's in there. Reach out to him to if he has any trade paperbacks available of Blue Scar left. And there's another really good one that I'm just going to flip through here. But yeah, so it's a great coloring book. I bought a couple copies because some of my friends' kids are going to be receiving this here book because it's all of these characters need to be known by humanity at large. I got to see if I can find one of the other really funny names here. But yeah, Jackson Macaroni.
That's awesome.
Macaroni.
Anything with macaroni and it works.
So yeah, once again, Jamie Cosley coloring book on Amazon to order that, and then also go to jamiecosley.com for other stuff too and information. So yeah, that came in, and that was a awesome collection. All right, we talked about the horrifying Jokin action figure. We talked about the free
Oh yeah,
Keen
that's scary.
Keen Spot toy box issue. Sometimes stores may have some extra copies of Free Comic Book Day issues a week or so after. So in case you missed out, maybe reach out to your local LCS and see if they have any of this available, because all of our friends have stories in there. And another plug for Leaving Nowhere from Lavi HQ, first self-published comic book. Reach out to Lavi HQ over there. And now let's jump to our guest, Adam Crohn. Plugs and all the information you want people to know where to find all that mess.
First of all, thank you guys for having me back on the show. It's always a pleasure. It's always a positive bright spot in my week, my month. So thank you guys. Let's see, plugs. You can find my toy design, AC Toy Design, on Instagram. You can find my drawing, AC Draw Stuff, on Instagram. You can find my podcast at Death by Podcast, that horror movie podcast. Let's see.
Patreon.
Anthony, one of my Patreon. All that stuff too. You can search my name, Adam Crohn, Crohn, and it'll pop up somehow. Specifically, Patreon is patreon.com/Adam Crohn, ADAMCROHN. If you want to support me and my art. I also have a couple of YouTube channels for AC Toy Design and AC Draw Stuff, and both under those monikers. I don't know. Is that it? That's too much. It's way too much. I always tell people, if you're starting out on social media as a marketing device, which it's great for, just keep it all under one roof. Yeah. You know, like early on, I did way too many, and I've got another one for like my 80s toys, and I've got another one for my dog, and so anyway, yeah, I think you can find me. Just Google my name.
And all that information will be across the bottom as he was talking about it, as well as active links over in the show notes of this YouTube video. So check out Adam Crohn wherever he is, because he's everywhere on the internet. So you should be able to find him
everywhere. And I'm a starving teacher. So yeah, just, I don't know. Say hi. Say hi to a starving teacher.
That's right. An awesome teacher from what we hear and understand. We'll do some fact checking afterwards, and see if some of those stories check out. And but yeah, it was awesome to have you on again, and
good time.
To see that you survived Prawn Nog from 2024. we always just have to make sure people are still still moving after that celebration.
Yeah, so that was crazy. Years from now, we'll be like, hey. Anybody heard from that guy?
I haven't seen him since that Nog.
Nog got him. So
I saw him. He was heading to a school, and he looked real hungry.
It's okay, everyone. I'm a teacher. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I had these old mozzarella sticks. We're good to
go. Matt Rodgers, anything you want to plug for? Because we're going to be getting Slaughter Otter number 3 within sometime in May, right?
Nice.
Yes, May 28th, the third and final issue of Slaughter Otter is out. Stay tuned for that. Exciting things happening after that. Let's see. Tomorrow I'm doing a convention, but you guys don't care because that's in the past for you.
That'll be over.
You people that exist in 3 dimensions.
Any other future events and stuff we already have in the at the end of the show, because I know you guys got a couple things booked throughout the year, so all of that information is up there too. So
yeah, come say hi to me in Pittsburgh.
Cool. That's what, June?
That one's September. June is the Jim and Dan show, I believe. Other than that, man, I got nothing. I'm just plugging away.
Cool. I have both issues of Rice Christopher out there, both the Wednesday afternoon special and the Pineapple Holiday special. And I am hard at work at issue number 3, which will be planned for the fall of 2025. And I don't think I talked about it on here, but in July is Comicopolis in Lockport, Illinois. Got accepted into that very
Wow.
popular library con. First time I've ever had to be like vetted for something, filling out an application and getting approved for art and everything. So it felt pretty good to be included with all the awesome people that get to go there. So
Congrats. It's awesome.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was pretty pumped up, and that's in July. So excited for that. So I'll probably most likely be taking June off to keep drawing more stuff to add to those future tables and such and work on more Rice Christopher. So I think that is everything. And happy birthday, Kermit the Frog. Happy Mother's Day to all those that apply.
Yeah.
And we've been cartooning throughout the night so much that we start to see the sun starting to come up. So it's time to get back to our day jobs. Good night, everybody.
Adios.
Good night.
Bye.
Yeah, got it. Can't get things closed.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Okay.
Okay.
I was crossing my eyes.